Well, Bards Wedders is back.
He is. He's back in the country at least.
He's not with us, though, is he?
No, he's with the Sandman, I heard.
The Sandman. No, this is the actual truth. Remember that last show, and I said, by the time we get back, Wedders will be on top of the ladder? And he said, don't make promises you can't keep, Housey.
Yes.
Yeah, well, he's not happy we're not on top of the ladder. He's not coming back until we're on top of the ladder.
Hang on, when do you actually get back?
Saturday night.
We were still on top, weren't we?
Depends.
Sydney had already played, hadn't they?
Yeah.
No good. You should have come back Friday.
I was close.
You were close.
Well, let's get into it. Scores from last week.
Yeah.
Hawthorn 13, 91, Fremantle 17, 8, 1, 10.
I might speed that up for the purposes of editing.
Yeah, we had more scoring shots.
Yeah, well, that doesn't help, does it?
No, it's the only thing we won on the day.
In fact, the scoring shots early cost us, didn't they?
They did, mate. We should have put a big gap on them early in the game and taken the crowd and that right out of it. And we failed to do that, and we paid the price.
All right, well, goal kickers, and goal kickers were a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, Piopolo 4, Bruce 2, Hale 2, and singles to Hodge, Burgoyne, Shields, Gunston and Simpkin.
And bringing Gunston back, was that a wise move?
I don't think his injury had any effect on the way he played, so it's probably a good idea. He did bits and pieces, but yeah, he didn't show any signs of being injured, so I don't think that was a reason why we didn't win.
I think we should have played grimly.
Yeah, well, if he actually put a bit of effort in like that during the season, he would have demanded a spot. He's waited to beat up on the poor Bendigo Gold.
Yeah, 6 goals, 2 allowed, not too bad.
Not too bad.
Tim O'Brien, though, he's showing us why they've got a lot of faith that he's going to be a good number 23 for the team.
Yeah, he did a few good things. Look at the overall stats, and I think he was a lowest possession winner and all that sort of stuff. But a few times where he did have the opportunity, just did the right thing, and the rest will come as he fills out. So looking forward to seeing more of him next year for sure.
Do you reckon they'll play him this week?
No, I'd imagine that he'd go straight out for Roughhead. I mean, we've also probably got Spanger to fit back in as well, so I can't see O'Brien holding his spot as at all.
Is that the redhead for the redhead rule? You can only have one redhead in the team?
Yeah, we'll go with that. And maybe we should have played Cole Cheney because Big Pav had a big game on us.
Hey, I told you Spanger wouldn't play. He re-signed for 2 years, dropped.
Yeah, no, definitely injured Spanger. He hadn't trained all week, to be honest, so I don't think he even made the trip on the plane. So, yeah, it was unfortunate, and I think we missed him because Big Bryzer down back looked like he was still having a holiday.
Yeah, but isn't that typical Brian Lake?
Oh, mate, you see that stage? He went to switch the ball from the right of screen there, and he just kicked it straight out of bounds, nowhere near whoever he was kicking it to, and it was just a lazy kick. One stage, yeah, he went for a spore and just sort of came in and just half-heartedly put his fist, up towards the ball and missed it, and it just didn't seem right. So hopefully he's better for the run.
He was singing about Brian's bargains. What could he buy cheap next?
Yeah, well, he might end up on a cheap AFL contract next year if he gets another go.
Fair enough. Now, Bardslow votes.
Yeah, it wasn't too hard this week, mate. The first lot will come very easy, and that was Jordan Lewis. 44 possessions in a game where we struggled overall. So Louis gets a 5, 4 to Piopolo for 4 goals, 3 to Hodge, 2 to Bruce, and 1 to Will Langford. Did a reasonable job on 5. But what I was impressed with was his clearances. He had 11 clearances, which is huge numbers. Again, still butchering the ball, Will. If he didn't butcher the ball and used it well, he'd probably be close to best on ground with those sort of clearance rates. So if he can get that bit better, then he's going to be a very good player.
His dad used to butcher the ball.
Yeah, but he just used to punch it as far as he could and punch him in the back of the head and kick out from full back. All there was to it.
Yeah, well, you know what you've done? You've put Lewis ahead on 33. Not that he wasn't ahead before, as people would have seen from the votes I put up. Followed by Hodgie on 27.
Yes, and I did jump on the online betting this week and waste a little something on Louis for the Brownlow just for an outside chance.
He certainly is an outside chance now.
Well, he'd be winning our best and fairest. He's obviously winning the Bardslow. He'd be winning Hawthorn's best and fairest by the length of the Flemington Straight, I'd say. And he'd be our best chance. He's probably a little bit unfashionable for the umpires. doesn't get a lot of little 1-2s and flashy stuff like a Gary Ablett, but geez, he does the hard stuff, and he's been so consistent this year, and he's obviously our best chance.
The thing is, he could be just racking up votes and no one's really knowing it.
Yeah, that's it. There could be lots of 2s as well in a game where maybe Ruffy's kicked a bag and Louis will just bob up with the 2, and then in a game where we struggled, he could be picking up 2s or 3s. So yeah, it should be a good chance. We'll see what happens.
And you know what? If he does win it, then it could be that the Bardslow is the indicator, like, one of the Nielsen polls or whatever, that, people will go to the Bardslow in the future to see who's going to win the Brownlow.
Yeah, probably unlikely.
You can only hope for fame, Bards.
We can, mate. But look, that's probably all we need to say about the game. There were 2 halves, I guess. We still looked all right in the first half. Second half, we just didn't bring the game out. Not enough run. They shut down a few outside runners, and we just didn't move the ball with any confidence, turn it over way too much. So, look, they played well. I don't think they can do much better. They never kicked that many goals in the game to start with. They kicked 17. That's huge numbers for them. Pavlich kicking 4, I think, over his shoulder. I can't see they've got much more, and we've got plenty more. So, hopefully we get another crack at them later in the year.
Anyone heard from Jaworski?
Geez, it's a bit scary. I think something about opening random car doors in the middle of the road at midnight or something. I think it was pretty messy.
All right, well, on that messy note, we'll move on. Now, no blast. Unusual for you, Bards, after a loss?
Well, you can get stuck into people, but at the end of the day, we've only had ourselves to blame. So I don't like bagging our own too much, so we'll let them ride. Umpires didn't have much influence. None of us got suspended, so we'll just go with it. But just a little sneaky one. Nathan Fyfe, what are you doing, son? You're one of the best footballers in the land, and you've resorted to sniping tactics, trying to take out Jordan Lewis. Well, good luck with that, mate. He come back on and had 45 possessions, so enjoy your holiday.
I do think that solved the problem for the AFL, though, come Brownlow night.
Yeah, although I don't think his first suspension was dodgy. It followed the new rule perfectly. The rule itself might be dodgy, but he did choose to bump and did hit with his head, so he was fair game as far as I'm concerned. But now he's definitely fair game. He's been suspended again, and we will not have to worry about him on Brownlow night.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in a whack and a toughen up princess, which is, Wedders, toughen up. Get through your jet lag. You should be here.
Maybe next week. You got any excuses for next week yet?
Don't know. Now, Tonk of the Week goes to one Dwayne Russell. Is it Taylor Giray or Taylor Giraya?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the first one, right?
Well, not according to Dwayne Russell.
Well, who's the bloke that wears number 32 for us? Is he Jonathan Simpson or Simpkin?
I think he's the bloke that doesn't have the donkey going through the trenches.
That's it. But according to Mr. Russell again, it was Simpson, and of course there's always the Brust, or whatever he calls Luke Bruce.
So, Dwayne Russell, you're the winner of Tonk of the Week. Now, Bards, we've been waiting for weeks now, and it did prove quite difficult, didn't it, from the backline? That my challenge of pick 3 players from each of the 6 states and 2 from each of the territories for a starting lineup.
Yes, mate. And look, to be honest, I actually forgot that you said 2 from the territory, so I went with 3 from every state. But I did have to follow the TAC Cup or the AFL Championships and go with the combined New South Wales ACT, but I gave you 6 from New South Wales because there is no one from the ACT.
Righto.
This side is 22 plus 2 emergencies, so we got 24 players. Now, the back line may be considered a little bit softer, but when you get to the forward line, it won't matter what the back line does because the forward line will kick 1,000.
Well, is Terry Wallace going to get it out of the centre?
Not required, Terry. Alright, so from the back line, Gary Ayres, Victoria, Jonathan Hay, the 2001 version, Western Australia, and Michael Osborne, Queensland. The half back line, Grant Birchall, Tasmania, Nick Holland, in an unusual role for him, but he's a big boy, South Australia. And Matthew Suckling from New South Wales/ACT. The star-studded centre line, Darren Pritchard, Tasmania, Shane Crawford, New South Wales, Darren Jarman, South Australia. The half-forward line, if you don't mind a bit of talent, Lance Franklin, Western Australia, Dermot Brereton, Victoria, Gary Buckenara, Western Australia. The forwards are Jason Dunstall from Queensland, Peter Hudson from Tasmania, and Cyril Rioli from the Northern Territory. The rucks, David Hale from Queensland, Lee Matthews from Victoria, and John Platten, South Australia. And the interchange, Luke Bruce, New South Wales ACT, Jed Anderson from the Northern Territory, Cameron Stokes from the Northern Territory, Isaac Smith from the New South Wales ACT, and the emergencies, Taylor Duray from New South Wales ACT, and Will Langford from New South Wales ACT. So you can see the New South Wales contingent are very strongly representative in the ACT side.
Hey, Bards, I'm going to throw 3 up. That's a fantastic side. I agree it's a little bit weak, but I did give you certain parameters that you had to work within. So Johnny Hay, Nick Holland, not quite. You could throw him up the forward as well. Cameron Stokes, why didn't you go for Burgoyne? He's from the Northern Territory.
Did we have another player from the Northern Territory?
You had Anderson.
I had Anderson and Cameron Stokes.
Yeah, Burgoyne's from the Northern Territory, you know.
Is he? I thought he was South Australian.
No, he's actually originally from the Northern Territory.
Well,
most people think he's from South Australia. So I'll let you do a spot.
In that case, Burgoyne can quite easily take his spot ahead of Cameron Stokes.
Well, there you go. And I'm surprised that you didn't put Matthew Robert in at centre half back for Nick Holland.
I had Dermot Brereton. You can't have Dermot Brereton and Matthew Robert in the same side. The hardest part was obviously choosing 3 Victorians to represent the club. So I went with Gary Ayres based on his captain of the club and a couple of Norm Smith medals, as along with a stack of premierships. Dermot Brereton as a 5-time day and night premiership star, and obviously Lee Matthews picked himself. But a lot of blokes missed out, and that's where the back line got a bit weak, because our full backs and centre half backs, Calvin Moore, Chris Langford, Chris Mew, all walk-up starts in any Hawthorn team, but couldn't fit him in as they were Victorian.
And you couldn't get Ruffy in there either.
No, Ruffy missed out as well. Look, I probably could have whacked Nick Holland at centre half forward and left Brereton out and then put a full back in, but I don't think that would have worked too well.
No, hard one, but a good one. So be interested to see what people think, to see whether they could have done anything better. You're the master from the back.
Pretty happy with plucking David Hale in the ruck, though. I didn't realise he was a Queenslander.
Yeah, I thought you might have had to go on with the general from Tasmania.
And I was trying to work out what to do with who our other New South Wales players were other than Crawford until I looked at the current team.
Yeah, we're starting to recruit well from other places, aren't we?
Yeah, we've got a host of New South Wales players there, and Suckling probably a bit lucky to actually make the team, but we'll go with it.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's move on into Saturday night.
Geelong again, big game, Saturday night, MCG, it's all happening.
Yep, 7:40 start, no doubt on free-to-air.
I'd imagine so.
You tell me that they're going to pull half the side.
No, I don't think they'll be pulling half the side. I guess I meant that if they had anyone that was a little bit iffy, they can probably afford to leave them out, as they don't really need to win this game. They're safely second or third, Geelong, being the game ahead of us. Puts them 2 games ahead of Freo. So, yeah, they're safely in that second or third spot. So I wouldn't imagine that they'd be risking anyone. So if Steve Johnson's still on crutches today, I doubt that he'll come up. And someone said that Tom Hawkins a bit stiff in the back, so he might miss as well.
Well, on that basis, I don't think we need to analyse this game, do we? We know what a Geelong Hawthorn game is going to give us, so we might as well go straight to the nearest to the pin.
4! Straight to the nearest to the pin? Well, I'm going to go 4! 21 points.
All right, well, I'm going to be the naysayer and go
4!
7.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad call either. It's never going to be a big one, is it?
Nah. So on that note, we better go. Go Hawks.